2. It began falling in the morning. I noticed it at the start of second period, biology, but I guess it could have started at the end of first period. Snow isn't really bound by a class schedule. There wasn't much to it at first, and it had been snowing a lot that month, so I didn't give it much thought. It was those small flakes, like grains of sugar. By third period, the flakes had fattened up and gotten serious, and people were starting to talk about it. "Think they'll let us out early?" Pete said, as we gathered our stuff and headed for Spanish. I looked out the window and sized it up. It was really coming down, and there was already an inch or two on the sill. "Could be," I said. "Is it supposed to be a big one?" "Supposed to be huge. Winter storm warning," he said. "Where you been?" "School, practice, homework, whatever. Excuse me for not watching the frickin' Weather Channel." "Yeah, well, you might want to check it out sometime," he said. "Then you wouldn't be wearing Chucks in a nor'easter." I looked down at my sneakers. Well, if it's as big as all that, they'll probably let us go. "I hope you're right, Weems," he said. My name is Scotty Weems. I prefer Scotty, but most people, even my friends, call me Weems. I guess it's easy to say, and maybe some people think it's funny. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm just glad that Snotty Streams never really caught on as a nickname. Anyway, I'm an athlete, so I made peace with my last name a long time ago. Since I was a kid in T-ball, I heard it shouted every time I did something right, and every time I screwed up, too. These days, it's on the back of my basketball jersey. I like to think that someday people will be chanting it from the bleachers. Weems, Weems, Weems. Chanting fans make any name sound good. Anyway, that's me. I'll be sort of like your guide through all of this. Some of the others might have seen things differently, and some of them might have told it better. But you don't get to pick. You don't because, for one thing, not all of us made it. It was a Tuesday, and before the sky started falling, the main thing on my radar was the start of hoop season. The first game was supposed to be that night, home against Canterbridge. So when Pete said, "Think they'll let us out early?" what I heard was, "Think they'll cancel the game?" So we had different feelings on the subject right from the get-go. Pete Dubois was one of my best friends, him and Jason Gillespie. The three of us were pretty tight. Pete was just, like, a normal kid. It was sort of his role. It might sound strange, being known for what you aren't, but Pete wasn't a jock, or a future farmer of America, or a student council member, and he wasn't super hip or incredibly smart. He was just a normal sophomore. He listened to standard-issue rock music and wore whatever clothes he'd been given for Christmas or his birthday. You needed some kids like that. Otherwise, all you had were competing factions of freaks, all dressed in outfits that amounted to uniforms and trying to play their music louder than yours. So for Pete, early dismissal just meant more time at home, playing video games and eating pizza rolls. For me, it meant not collecting the payoff for all those hours of practice I'd put in over the off-season, all those jump shots I'd taken in the gym and out in the driveway and at the courts down behind the library. It meant time for the other shooting guards to catch up, to keep their minutes, or to take some of mine. "They're going to cancel the game," I said to Pete. "That's for sure." "Oh yeah," said Pete. "Bummer." Pete didn't shoot hoops. Not on the team, anyway. Neither did Jason. They were the same friends I'd always had. The neighborhood kids I'd ride bikes with in the cemetery when we were like 9. Our mom sent us there because it was better to ride around where everyone else was dead than out on the road where the traffic would kill you. I guess it's kind of weird to still have the same friends as when you were a little kid. It's not like you're expected to move on by high school, but you're definitely allowed. And most jocks run in packs, you know? But I was a sophomore on varsity, so I was kind of an outsider on the team anyway. There were only a few of us, and I wasn't a star like Kyle, or buried deep on the bench like Joey. So, I was an outside shooter, and just kind of outside in general.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.